Good afternoon, everybody, and we are going to start the session. With me, my friend Dr. Vivek Gupta is there from he's a senior consultant in Apollo Hospital, Delhi. This year, we have started the Professor Alan Kibia Memorial Oration, the first time as a tribute to Professor Kibia. He was very close to all of us. He was a very good friend of Indian doctors. We had a long association with him. I was honored to be the first interventional fellow in Rome in the year 1990 from Asia Pacific region. Subsequently, trained many cardiologists from India, and one of them is Vivek Gupta, who was there for 2 years with him. And he's a serial inventor. He started the aortic valvuloplasty, developed the tibial attack balloon, did the first aortic valvuloplasty in the world, trained many doctors. Then he did the developed mitral commissuratome, and the first 2 cases were done in Apollo Hospital, Hyderabad. Both of us did it, and it was published in Lancet, circulation everywhere. And of course, his invention of TAVI procedure in 2002 revolutionized the treatment of aortic valve throughout the world. He has got many awards from many societies, Lifetime Achievement Award, all President Gold Medal Award from American College of Cardiology, Lifetime Achievement Award from ACC, USA, everywhere, and the highest award from French government in 2012. And he has trained many people, those who will take his memory and his country teaching forward. And above all, he was a very perfect human being, very good friend, an excellent teacher and motivator. With these words, I request Dr. Vivek Gupta to introduce the first Professor Helene, who was the recipient of the first oration. And Dr. Vivek has worked with her, and she is the right person to introduce her.
Thank you, Dr. Vishal, for keeping this Hyderabad valve as dedicated to Dr. Professor Vivek. Of course, it is a slightly sad day for all of us because we are not having physically Dr. Vivek, but I personally feel that divine blessings are always there. I worked with him for 2 years. Now I have the pleasure to, of course, a very emotional guy. One thing I wanted to add Dr. Vivek was for the interest of the audience that he was not only a big human being, great human being, big heart, but also he had a clear sense of humor, and which kept all his fellows, all his colleagues, all his staff in a very good mood all the time. Whenever, of course, he was also stressed sometime when he was doing the first TAVI and all those things. So let me have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Helene Eltchaninoff. When I joined in 1996, in fact, I was very close to Dr. Vivek, but she was a bridge between Dr. Vivek and when I was talking to him, something like that. She was a very nice human being. So Dr. Helene Eltchaninoff, the spelling, a lot of people don't know the spelling, is a very special spelling. Is a professor at head of cardiology department of Rouen University, Classical since 2010. She earned her doctorate of degree in 1984 from Marie Curie University, Paris, and advanced training in 1991 from Cleveland Clinic Foundation, USA. She performed along with Dr. Alan Kibia the first transcatheter aortic valve implantation procedure in 2002, April 16. With an extensive medical career spanning over 3 decades, Dr. Eltchaninoff has significantly contributed to interventional cardiology and has been deemed academic roles, including Professor of Medicine since 2003. Dr. Eltchaninoff's groundbreaking work on transcatheter aortic valve implantation has been widely recognized and published in Circulation NECM and JACC. She is at present the President-elect of the French Society of Cardiology and has been actively involved in national and international research projects with cardiovascular involving aortic stenosis. But Dr. Eltchaninoff continued her research on aortic stenosis. Since 2016, she has been coordinating with RHU's top AS, a project funded by a tune of 2.6 billion euros by National Research Agency, involving various academic and industrial partners and with the aim of studying aortic stenosis. In 2021, Helene received a Letter Grant Prize for medical research in her career, and since 2024, she has been Vice President of Gynecology and non-president-elect since that time. So may I just invite our dear friend Helene, and she's actually pronounced Helene, not Helene. So this was a difficulty when I reached there in 1996. So may I invite her to give the oration, a very emotional tribute to Professor Dr. Helene Cribier, a world-renowned interventional cardiologist, a dear friend of all Indians, and personally dear to Dr. P.C. and myself. Thank you very much. Please, Helene, please go ahead.
Because playing just
So, dear colleagues, dear Dr. Dr. Vivek Gupta, it's really a great pleasure and a lot of emotion to give this lecture in Hyderabad, at the Hyderabad meeting, where Alain was used to go so often, and even last year he was still in India, and we were together 3 years ago. So I will give this lecture mostly on him. So, as was said by Dr. Brother Pratt, and it's something very important, he was the first fellow to come to Rouen from India at the end of the 80s. And then from that time, Alain Cribier and myself also, we came very frequently to India. Alain had a major role in India for coronary intervention, and then for mitral intervention, and then for aortic intervention. And you see here the picture taken 2 years ago when we were together at the Hyderabad meeting with Dr. Rat, when we had a wonderful time at that place. And you see some pictures from that meeting 3 years ago, and then leading the conference, we with the team, with the family of patients who were treated. So it's just an excellent memory, and I am very disappointed that I could not come this year, and I really hope I will be able to come next time. So As I said, I think I can talk really about NLP because we have been together for 30 years, about 35 years. I came to Rouen in 1986 as a resident because I was told that I was a crazy guy already in Rouen. So I decided to do my residency in Rouen, and I never left the department. Such it was important and impressive to work with Alain Cuvier for his innovative spirit and for his human quality. So Alain Cuvier, just quickly, he was born in Paris. He did his medical school in Paris, and he moved to Rouen under the direction of Professor Dr. Who came to India and from his first historical, and who sent Alain Cuvier for a fellowship to United States, to Los Angeles, where Alain Cuvier worked in the research department led by Jeremy Swan and William Guns, the famous inventors of the Swan Guns catheter. So it's something very impressive. And from that year in Cedar Sinai, he came back to Rouen with really a research spirit, which was also given by Brice Ledac. And when he came back, he always was saying, he met again William Guns 30 years later, and you can read what he wrote to the son of William Guns when William Guns died. He said, your father, so William Guns, will remain forever in my heart. Knowing him and working with him has been one of the most important events in his life. He came back with the goal to try to find solutions for unmet clinical needs. That was his spirit. And when he came back at the age of 40 years only, he met his first clinical need. He was facing a woman who was only 72, very symptomatic with aortic stenosis, who was refused by the surgeon because of only her age, and he decided to do something. And he decided to do an attempt of manuventiloplasty, even though the valve was a specific aortic stenosis and not a congenital disease. He did it, and you see it was successful in decreasing the gradient, and more particularly the clinical improvement of the patient was great, and she could come back in the department for months and months. It was published in the Lancet, and it was the beginning of a big story with many fellows coming to Rouen, many patients coming to Rouen, Alain Cuvier traveling all around the world, organizing seminars, etc. So a huge enthusiasm in the community because there was a clinical need for these patients. But as you know, at the end of the restenosis, it was obvious that there was restenosis after manuventiloplasty almost in all cases. And again, a big quality of Alain Cuvier was his sense of observation. What did he observe? He observed that the balloon would always be circular when fully inflated. And that's why he thought, why not adding a stent with a new valve inside to maintain the next valve open and have a new valve using transcatheter technique under anesthesia for these patients who were too fragile to undergo surgery. So that was his concept, which came very early, at the end of the 80s. I remember very well, I was a resident, and he had this crazy, crazy idea. So for more than 5 years, his leitmotif was, I need a prototype. Of course, we needed to test it and to be able to advance. It was impossible to convince a company, you know his words, he was always saying, because it was true, he had always the same answers for companies, it's dangerous, it's impossible. Despite his growing, which are exactly what we have today for a balloon expandable valve, the way it should work, cream on the balloon, insert via the femoral artery using local anesthesia, it was his idea since the beginning. Despite the homemade prosthesis, which was done, and despite the concept on cadavers. And the chance came at the end of the 90s, so almost 10 years later, when he finally met two really special engineers who were working with Fortis and Datascope, and they decided together with Martin Leon, who is on the right, to create a startup because there was no other option. And the next step was to find someone to make the prototype. And he has an eternal gratitude to the engineer Assaf Bash, an engineer from Amman in Israel, who was just hired in this small company from Electronic, and he did this first prototype, So really, each time Alan Kennedy was grateful to this engineer as a match. So we had a prototype. We could do 100 sheep, and then we moved, as we know, but I don't want to enter the detail. It's just that Alan Kennedy is known for his innovation on aortic stenosis from balloon ventricularity to the first-in-man procedure, and I will let you know after, but what about he's known for other characteristics. The first one was performed in April 2002, as you have said, with Alan Kennedy, of course. I was in the middle, and Christophe Tron. You all know this picture and these results, which were published in circulation. The procedure was done on local anesthesia in the young patients with cardiogenic shock, who was sent for balloon, but who was not improved. And you can see the extraordinary result, the hemodynamic result after the implantation of this first transcatheter aortic valve in a patient who was totally conscious. So it was really a very impressive day. You can see Alan Kennedy with the patient 3 hours, 7 days after. And I will not enter the detail, but we know since that the extraordinary development of Tally from first in man in 2002 to all the registries, to the CMAR commercialization, to all the randomized trials, partner 1, partner 2, partner 3, comparing Tally to surgery, and finally the apotheosis to the expansion to all comers. And at the same time, in parallel, a little later, the same trials with the format. So it's really an extraordinary adventure. And for this extraordinary invention, he received worldwide recognition, as was said by Dr. Gupta, in Europe, in the United States, by the Academy of Medicine, by TCT, and the last we submitted his name for the nomination for the Nobel Prize, but unfortunately he did not also receive it as a posthumous recognition. So, but what I wanted to tell you is that beyond Tally, and beyond this great innovation on aortic stenosis, he was really a true inventor because he developed several innovations. Before aortic stenosis, he was the first to do intracoronary thrombolysis for acute MI. You can imagine it. It was 40 years ago, at the time where they didn't know if the infarction was related to a thrombus or infarction led to a thrombus. So it's quite incredible. He was also the first to develop a specific stent, a coronary stent, which was in fact the subject of my medical thesis. And also he invented rapid pacing. So rapid pacing, you know, it's absolutely mandatory. So each time he had plenty of ideas. And one of his great ideas, which was done for the first time, you see here Dr. Prataprat, and the first peritoneal spherical commissurotome for microstenosis was in fact performed in India by Prataprat and of course Alain Cuvier and Chris Letak. And you know that after that, Alain Cuvier, myself, together, we went to many places to teach this technique, which was used for many years in many patients because it was reusable, but unfortunately it was stopped by the company because it was not cost effective, but it's a great invention. He did in between balloon ventricularity and Tally. Beyond the physician, beyond the innovator, he was a great physician. And for those who know him, he was really beloved by his patients, his family. You can see here, he's sitting next to a patient. He was very simple, always explaining with simple words the pathology, taking time to discuss with them, to reassure them, taking time to give them hope in the future. And it was really equality. And up to night, patients asked news about Alain Cuvier and recognized his human qualities. He was, as was said, an excellent teacher, and he loved to teach. He loved to teach on site, here on a webinar. He loved to travel to teach in all the countries in the world, to teach in our medical training center. Always people were passionate to hear him. He had good explanation, very simple, always providing tips and tricks, and you see him in the middle in India with this metallic commissurotome. He was, to be able to do all of that, he was a very hard worker, a perfectionist. And I always remember when we were together in India, he was always accepted, even if it was 7 p.m., to go to another place in India, to another center, to give a lecture, to do cases. It was incredible. He was working at night, he was working over the weekend, and never complained. His family in Rouen was really, as he was used to say, it was his family, his second family. He used to say that he had the chance to work in such a team because we were very supportive. But it was not an effort. It was so easy to work with a man like him, so passionate, so funny, as was said by Dr. Gupta, with a lot of humor, and very simple, always taking time with us to explain and to teach us. He was a man full of enthusiasm, marvel, and joie de vivre. He was always, you can see, in fact, in all the pictures, he has his smile or his love, and he liked to make jokes to each time after each study. He used to say, c'est magnifique, it means it's wonderful, and to kiss everyone at the end of the procedure. Such he was, enthusiastic, curious about everything. He was also, this is less known, he was a very talented artist. He was a pianist, really playing Chopin, Bach, his favorite compositors. He was also a painter. So he was, in fact, an extraordinary man, and for that we are in progress of building in Rouen a heart valve institute, which will be, his name will be given to this institute, Institute Alain Cribier, dedicated to cardiac valves, to patients, to research, to training, and to awareness of the population. So for this, we will always remember Alain Cribier, his legendary smile, because he was not only an extraordinary and exceptional man for his scientific knowledge he brought to the patients all over the world and to our physicians all over the world, and from his human quality. Thank you. So I think I will move to the cat lab. Can you confirm?
Thank you, Helene, for excellent lecture. You really did justice to the ovation. Let's give her a standing ovation.
I just add one thing. Everybody knows Dr. Vivek for his valve, but he learned everything about coronary. He was a fantastic coronary operator and very fast in his speed. I mean, the speed of his working, his confidence was at par and excellence. So he was not only coronary valve man, but he knew interventional cardiology completely. Thank you, Dr.
I think the next is the live guest from France. Anand, can you just moderate this session?
Okay, I go to the left, please.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes, I go.
I think the rest of the panelists was there and just Dr. Ravishankar, Amit Shah, Dr. Manjunath sir, Dr. Balan, Dr. Vikram, Dr. Vishankar, and Dr. Mohanty. We connect East Life Center.